Hi, we're here at the Sell and Scale Summit here in Las Vegas, a conference organized by Helium 10. And I'm sitting down here with Bradley from Helium 10, and I wanted to ask, how are you feeling so far, and how is the event been for you?
It's been great. It's our first big event, and like the response was overwhelming. I was a little bit worried, like we never done any event, like are people gonna come? But this is like probably the biggest Amazon event I've seen outside of Amazon itself, and everybody's loving the. We did Zumba fitness. We do a lot of crazy things. She came to the Zumba fitness dance. She was a better dancer than me, even though I was leading the class. But we're doing a lot of crazy things at this conference. It's been great.
Awesome to hear that. So you mentioned that besides Amazon conference, you're probably one of the biggest ones, and actually Amazon just hosted the Amazon Accelerate. So we have tons of updates from Amazon side, and you know all of them. So could you walk us through what are some of the main themes right now that Amazon announced during that conference, and what updates Amazon sellers are looking forward to have?
The main takeaway for me, it's not necessarily that there was just one thing that's like hashtag game changing. But the thing that's game-changing to me is what some of these moves signifies. There's two things that Amazon has been very reluctant to do in the past. Number one, they don't want you contacting customers. They're Amazon's customers, not yours. Like you can send them one request for a review, that's it. I mean, you can get suspended in an instant if you didn't. Number two, Amazon's always very, very private when it comes to data. Like maybe some vendor central people get some special data, but they're like, hey, we don't want to open up data points for competitors, or your competitors, if you're not a vendor. But a couple of the things talked about at Amazon Accelerate. Number one was this you can now speak to your audiences, where you can actually market to people who are repeat buyers, large buyers, but regardless of what that is, I'm not even sure how successful that's going to be, but just the fact that they're offering that is to me like game changing. Amazon has gone from a company where we don't even want you to ask for a review twice, and we're hiding everybody's address, we're hiding, so we don't want you making lists, to now I can go ahead and potentially market to 30,000 of my customers if they're repeat buyers or large buyers. That to me is game changing and a great sign that Amazon is going to be maybe more relaxed in its guidelines on how you talk to customers. But regardless of the targeted audience that it's doing, sellers should definitely use that. It's just another reason to definitely get brand registered, get your own page. And then they've been opening up a lot of metrics, being in product opportunity explore, search query performance, where you can see information not just on your own, your own listings, which Amazon has always shown you, but they kind of give you like aggregated data for like your niche or for a keyword. Amazon has never ever shown this kind of data out there, and so it's great. Some people say, "Oh my goodness, Helium 10 must be scared." Now Helium. No, we love it when Amazon opens more, because when Amazon opens more data points, it helps validate our own tools, and eventually they open it up to the tools, and now we can even make Helium 10 better. So I'm super excited about those main two things that Amazon was talking about last week.
And regarding to the communication, how will it work? Is it a new tool? Is it a new feature? How exactly are Amazon sellers able to now soon? Probably it's not rolled out yet, I think. So what are the options to market to the existing customers?
So there's different things. First of all, you have to be brand registered, and you can't just like send emails out to all of your customers. But there's going to be different little tiers on which you have audiences. It's almost like when you would make a Facebook ad and then you target audiences like who matches this characteristic, like, oh, this is 23,000 people potentially. So now you're going to have that inside of your Seller Central, where it's like, hey, if you've had somebody buy 2 or more times, they're in the repeat buyers. If they're part of a certain percentile of buyer, like they're one of the top ones, you're going to be able to market to them. If somebody has bought from you multiple times, like I said, that's the one that's key to me, because those are the more valuable customers. And so now you can actually remarket to them, but within Amazon Seller Central. It's not like, oh, they're going to give you their email address or something like that. But even despite that, I think that's very valuable.
And personally, in your opinion, so usually when Amazon rolls out something new, it's often in beta, and it's also usually available first for the US sellers. And sometimes when sellers start to use those new tools, they don't see results right away, right? But what's your take on it? Should sellers still go ahead, try and experiment and kind of be the first ones to imply the new tools, or have like patience for that? Or is it something that they shouldn't put in effort like as a first thing and just see how it goes first and then later invest their time and money into that?
That's a good question. The thing that worries me here and other sellers is the opt-out. You know, like once Amazon added the easy opt-out for just the follow-up message for asking for a review, I mean, like a big number of Amazon buyers opted out. So if we're the first to do this and you're not sure how it's going to work, I like imagine if people opt out and now you're never going to be able to market to them again. So in that sense, maybe it's not best to be first, but there are some things that are just like no-brainers. Like the one that I would use is that multiple buyer thing. Like if they have bought my product multiple times, I'm sure I can come up with something that I know will engage. I know they like my brand. They're probably less likely to just hit an opt-out or be annoyed because they obviously love my brand. So those, maybe I'll go ahead and do that from day one. But for some of the others where it's just targeting the higher percentile sellers or buyers or things like that, maybe I might wait just to see some articles about people who have done tests.
All right, really good. So in addition to those things, was there anything else that was standing out, something new regarding advertising or overall account management?
Yeah, there's Buy with Prime is semi-new. That was talked about before. Is allow you on your DTC website like Shopify or WooCommerce or whatever, put a link of Buy with Prime, and then it's going to actually buy like an Amazon inventory product. But what was lately announced is now those people doing Buy with Prime, whether you have Amazon listings or not, now you're going to be able to run sponsored brands to that. Also, you're going to be able to put your Buy to Prime products on your own brand storefront. And then people who maybe don't even sell on Amazon, but if they're using Buy with Prime, now you can actually run sponsored brand even though you're not even an Amazon seller. It's kind of crazy. So that's going to be interesting to see. Me, myself, like all my sales is 100% on Amazon and Walmart, Etsy, on marketplaces. I don't have a DTC website. But now maybe I'm considering it, like this makes, brings the world a little bit smaller on Amazon. And the thing that worries me or worries some sellers is that there's a lot of clicks that you have to do. But like you said, maybe at the beginning things might be a little clunky, but Amazon always listens to feedback and they'll fix it and they'll make it a good system. But this is super exciting where, before Amazon never wants to send traffic outside of Amazon. It's another one of these things that Amazon is doing something they've never done, but now they're even putting ads on Amazon and taking you to a website potentially to buy a product.
Okay, nice. So coming back to this conference here, Sell and Scale Summits, I think Helium 10 made a couple of announcements earlier this morning. So could you give us an update? What did you announce? What is coming up for the sellers using Helium 10 tools?
Yeah, we have a couple new features that were announced. One is Google Ads integration inside of our ads tool, Atomic. So you'll be able to create your Google Ads and run them from Google, start monitoring your keyword ranking on Amazon and see how it integrates. The other big announcement we had was the integration of brand analytics into Cerebro. Brand analytics is a great Amazon data point, and now Amazon has made it available to Helium 10 so that we can just ingest it. So now when you look at keywords in Cerebro, you're going to say, hey, who were the top ones clicked? How many % of the conversions did those top 3 clicked items get, and what's the history of the conversion share? Which products were always the top one? So this is not a new strategy. I mean, hopefully everybody's been using brand analytics for 2 years and doing this on their own, but now instead of having to do 2 different research, one in Helium 10 and then later brand analytics, now it's integrated into one. And this is another reason why I say we love it, Helium 10, when Amazon releases these kind of data points, because it makes Helium 10 even better too.
Okay, great. So in this conference, we have many sellers attending from different countries, from Europe, from the States, everywhere basically. Everybody wants to know how to sell on Amazon. There are many sellers who are already selling. So my question is, for sellers who would like to scale, what advice would you give to them? How could they go a level higher now?
Yeah, so nowadays I think you can't just have something on repeat. I talked to somebody right after my speech, like maybe 15 minutes ago, and she told me that she's done $6 million on Amazon from one product she launched in 2015. But she's like, now it's slowing down, and now, I can't just have it on repeat, and now I need to launch more products. So that's something that's important. Don't get complacent. Amazon is not set it and forget it. You have to constantly be innovating. So keep retweaking your own products, and then do research on, is in your brand, is there room to expand to other products? Should you start a new brand? You take the same process over as if you were a brand new seller going into new marketplaces, but don't get complacent and think you put your stuff on Amazon, now you just live on the beaches of Maldives or something and don't have to worry about anything. You keep having to reinvent your own self and expand your brand.
Awesome. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you also for an awesome event. And to finish it up, what is the main reason why Amazon sellers should attend in-person conferences like this one here?
The N word, networking. Networking is so important because yes, we have some great speakers and great information. You know, even Gary Vee is here and Neil Patel, I just came out from him. Amazing. But sometimes the long-lasting value, and let me take it a step back. You know, when we talk about these conventions, probably if you ask me what my favorite thing at one of the speeches was 8 months from now, I probably won't remember. You know, our brain doesn't work like that where I can remember. I'm still going to learn some tactics. I'll probably implement it right now. But what happens when you network, you build relationships with other entrepreneurs like yourself that will last years. You know, even to this day, from my very first ever conference in 2016, I have people that are like friends and they now work for Helium 10. I was able to get him jobs and he was able to help me on Amazon. So that's the most important thing is at conferences, you go and you meet people, build your network, and it's gonna make you a better entrepreneur, a better seller.
So thank you very much, and we all hope to see you during the next Helium 10 conference.